Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies. Welcome to week 2 of our Education Digitization series. Last week, we started a conversation on leveraging technology for school resilience. We got a lot of traction and questions from that session, and which prompted us to schedule this workshop for this week. Before we continue, I just want to know how things are with you. I know that it might not be possible for you to get responses, but you can just drop off your responses at the chat session. We know that these are hard times, especially for school owners. The fact that schools have had to shut down for practically say two months and thereabout, and that schools are having challenges paying their teachers because there are no revenues and all of that. So the conversations on how to kickstart a remote or an alternative channel of education became necessary. So far, we've been able to get in touch with some critical players in this sector who have been able to bring solutions that we feel we're strongly convinced will help you as school owners or educators, as the case might be, to kickstart your remote learning platform in your school and then begin to earn an income to sustainably do the things that you need to do with respect to paying your teachers and keep your students engaged and whatnot. So before we continue, I would just like to show us a video. Ashwaya is in the house. I'll come back to introductions much later. The video is to help us gain a broader perspective as to the global education crisis, zeroing in on Nigeria and Lagos particularly, and why it is important for us to have this kind of conversation. So I'll be back shortly after the video to take it up from here. Ashwaya, if you are good, then we can shoot. Hello, Ashwaya, can you hear me?
Yeah, just 1 minute. Just connecting.
Okay. Okay, so I can see that we have more participants joining in. About 86% have been able to sign in. Hopefully, time will round off the video. We should have a full house to continue the business. So while Ashwaya is trying to get the video running, we understand that a lot of issues or controversies are around, okay, even if we try to go remote in terms of engaging our students, what are the critical issues around getting affordable devices, data, and power supply. These are real issues that school owners tend to contend with. At this time, there is also the issue of acceptability or acceptance from the perspective of the parents. How well will they welcome this idea? But we're not here to say, okay, remote learning is everything. But I think we have Ashwaya now. Okay.
Can you see the video?
Yeah. The video is not showing.
Video is not showing. Just give me a minute.
Okay, I was saying, while Ashwaya tries to sort that out, I was saying that school owners will have to have a shift in their minds. While remote learning is not coming to displace in-class learning, as the case might be, it's important for us to have an alternative, and especially at times like this. So
can you see this?
Essentially what we're doing. Okay, we're good. We're good. Yeah, we're good.
Nigeria is one of the fastest growing cities in the world today. The city's educational system, like that of the entire country, is struggling to keep pace with the burgeoning population. Over 18,000 private schools have opened to fill this void. Over the last decade, the global number of out-of-school children has continued to decline. But while the world is making a remarkable decrease, 1 in every 5 of the world's out-of-school children is in Nigeria. The government has come up with various initiatives to tackle these challenges. Similarly, school leaders, education boards, government agencies, and private sector organizations are also committed to solving this issue. In addition to the various efforts being carried out by key stakeholders, Edfin Microfinance Bank is deliberately making efforts to make an impact in the education sector to enable education for the future. About 13.2 million of the country's children aged 5 to 14 are out of school. The education sector in Nigeria is besetted with major challenges such as poor infrastructure, paucity of quality teachers, limited teaching aids, insufficient libraries, laboratories, and computers. These problems continue due to a lack of appropriate funding, despite the efforts of the private sector. The continuous rise of Nigerians schooling abroad shows there is more room for improvement. We need to start enabling education for the future by increasing access to finance so that there is increased investment in education to increase access and quality of education for the growing population. Nigeria's youth illiteracy has increased from 5.19 million in 1991 to 9.43 million in 2015, growing at an average annual rate of 24.32%.
Every microfinance bank provides financial services to the education ecosystem. We say that we provide financial services in such a way that it enables the realization of human potential. In Edfin, we believe that if we provide education,
the video, the screen, nothing is showing on the screen.
Added services together with financial services, that would lead to improved learning outcomes in schools. Schools will grow faster. They're going to recruit more people. They're going to provide better learning opportunities and open the minds of our young generation so that they truly can make this country great as we expect.
As part of the solution to provide adequate funding, the first specialized education microfinance bank is here. Edfin Microfinance Bank, enabling education for the future.
Hey, have you been able to see the screen?
Actually, I'm not too sure that the viewers saw the videos. There was just audio. There were no pictures. So we might want to rectify that and come back to it much later. I don't know if it's a technical issue from your end. Well, by way of introduction, Edfin Microfinance Bank is the first education specialized bank in Nigeria, and we have a mission to provide financial services to the education ecosystem for the realization of human potentials. We're just under 1 year in operations, and so far we've been able to impact over 400 schools, over 70,000 students and 6,000 teachers and counting. We not only provide financial services, we also offer value-added services to all sectors, all stakeholders in the education sector. And today, we, like I mentioned earlier when we started the conversation, that last week, okay, I think we have the video now.
Lagos State, Nigeria, is one of the fastest growing cities in the world today. The city's educational system, like that of the entire country, is struggling to keep pace with the burgeoning population. Over 18,000 private schools have opened to fill this void. Over the last decade, the global number of out-of-school children has continued to decline. But while the world is making a remarkable decrease, 1 in every 5 of the world's out-of-school children is in Nigeria. The government has come up with various initiatives to tackle these challenges. Similarly, school leaders, education boards, government agencies, and private sector organizations are also committed to solving this issue. In addition to the various efforts being carried out by key stakeholders, Edfin Microfinance Bank is deliberately making efforts to make an impact in the education sector to enable education for the future. About 13.2 million of the country's children aged 5 to 14 are out of school. The education sector in Nigeria is besetted with major challenges such as poor infrastructure, paucity of quality teachers, limited teaching aids, insufficient libraries, laboratories, and computers. These problems continue due to a lack of appropriate funding, despite the efforts of the private sector. The continuous rise of Nigerians schooling abroad shows there is more room for improvement. We need to start enabling education for the future by increasing access to finance so that there is increased investment in education to increase access and quality of education for the growing population. Nigeria's youth illiteracy has increased from 5.19 million in 1991 to 9.43 million in 2015, growing at an average annual rate of 24.32%.
Edfin Microfinance Bank provides financial services to the education ecosystem. We say that we provide financial services in such a way that it enables the realization of human potential. In Edfin, we believe that if we provide educational support, which is what we call our value-added services, together with financial services, that would lead to improved learning outcomes in schools. Schools will grow faster. They're going to recruit more people. They're going to provide better learning opportunities and open the minds of our young generation so that they truly can make this country great as we expect.
As part of the solution to provide adequate funding, the first specialized education microfinance bank is here. Edfin Microfinance Bank, enabling education for the future.
Okay, so welcome back. Thank you, Ashwaya, for rectifying the technical issues we had initially. Yeah, so for those of us that are just joining the conversation this afternoon, yeah, this is the Edfin Education Digitization Series, week 2. Last week, we started a conversation on leveraging technology for school resilience, given the current issues that we have with schools having to shut down for over 2 months or thereabout. The issues around teachers being paid and students being engaged, it is a recurrent issue or topic in our time at the moment. And so at Edfin, we decided that we needed to step in and bring solutions, practical solutions to all school owners. So this week we're looking into digital content for remote learning. And to walk us through the 2 sessions that we have today, we have first Ashwaya. Ashwaya is the Chief Technology Officer for the Global Education Finance Company. And he has over 20 years of experience in managing systems in financial services. He has also worked with mutual funds, insurance and technology companies, online insurance selling to India. So he comes with a lot of experience and expertise as far as technology and education finance is concerned. And so he'll be taking us through how to set up Zoom for engaging classes. And much later during this workshop, we'll have Femishola Awoshika, the CEO and MD of the MD CEO of Roducate, Robert and Johnson Limited, and he founded Roducate in 2010, and he's had over a decade experience in this field. It's good to mention that I think sometimes last month, he was able to partner with the Lagos State government, particularly on the project to move about 1 million children to e-learning. And so we'll be walking us through the Roducate devices, the content that we have on these devices, and how we go about acquiring them and setting up our own remote classes in our schools. So that being said, without much further ado, I would like us to go over to Ashwaya while he begins his session on setting up Zoom for education. Ashwaya, over to you, please.
Thank you, Dayo. Welcome everyone to this session. Let me start with a poll. So here is the poll. Do you think remote learning should become a major component in schools' proposition post-COVID-19? Please give your responses. Okay, so while the poll is in progress, let me start with the session.
Okay.
Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen. I think the participants too can see your screen. So you can continue, Ashwaya.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this session, we are going to talk about Zoom. Zoom is one of the more popular solutions for education. It is very useful if you want to take your class to online. It helps video conferencing between teachers and students and build a class in an online mode. The name you see at FINA is the name under which we are going to bring a number of solutions and services and guidances like these going forward. So we see a lot of challenges that schools are facing, students are facing because of long social distancing period, and also the absence of physical classes mean that the students lose touch with learning. Those who are leaving schools now, there's a risk some of them will not join back again. Schools are facing a lot of difficulty in collecting fees, for example, and has a big commercial challenge. We believe that starting an online class helps. I think Zoom is a good solution which you can use at no cost to start. Depending on the device and network availability, you can use the option that works best for you. So you can use it for live classes, or you can have the teachers record the classes and share it with the students and they can view the recording. So whatever works for you, you can accordingly choose and work on that. Now, how do you get Zoom? Now, getting Zoom is very easy. You just go to zoom.us. Let me see if I can show that to you as well. Yes. Yeah, so it is as simple as going to zoom.us, and you can simply click on sign up. It's free. And as you will click on it, it asks you for your date of birth. So you can simply select your date of birth and year. Now, as you will continue, it will ask for your email address. Please enter your school email address and click sign up. Let me go back to my presentation. You will receive an email from Zoom to activate on your, you can click on the activate button. You will be redirected to enter your first name, last name, and create a password, and your Zoom account is ready. If you want, you can invite others from your schools or other administrators, teachers. You can invite to set up their Zoom accounts, and you're ready to go. To download the Zoom client, again, just go to www.zoom.us/download. It has, I can show that again for you. Just 1 second. Yes, so you can see the www.zoom.us/download, and it has Zoom clients for meetings, and you click on download and you can download the video. Then from there, you can just follow these steps to continue with the presentation.
Okay.
Just 1 second. Okay. Yeah. So this is how you.
While you're sorting that out for all the participants, you can drop your questions. Yeah, I was saying that participants can drop their questions on the Q&A session while we take the presentation. Sorry.
Yeah. So how do you schedule a class or meeting? It is again very simple. You can schedule it using your desktop app. So on the desktop app, there's a home button on top. There, you just choose the schedule button. A screen opens, and you can just enter topic, date, and other details, and it is scheduled. If you want to schedule it online, go to zoom.us/meeting. Choose the button to schedule a new meeting and enter topic, date, and other details, and the meeting is scheduled. As a teacher, you schedule a meeting, send it, give this to the students, and the students can join both using the desktop client, wherein they just go to the desktop app, click on home, and click on join button and enter meeting ID and name, or they can simply click the meeting URL, which is there in the email, and then they can join. I would recommend that you use computer audio because that makes it much more seamless. So for teachers, how do you run the class? You run the class by first scheduling your class on Zoom. You copy the invitation details and share it with the students. As you start the class for the first time, you should tell them about Zoom, how they check and validate they have been able to connect both by audio and video. You tell them the agenda, and you can do by screen sharing. So screen sharing is what I'm using at the moment to share a document, and you can share it in form of a document or slide so that students are aware of what the class is about. You can guide them for the first time about online etiquette, what you expect from the students as they get onto virtual class. A virtual class is different from a physical class, and students will take a little bit time in getting used to it. So you need to be a little bit flexible and understanding as they get used to it. So as you run the online class on Zoom, there are a variety of things that you can do. So you can use a whiteboard, or you can annotate a shared document. So for example, on this document, I can underline using annotation and share and let the people see. You can use a whiteboard. Whiteboard is another feature which is available when you do a screen share. So a white screen is available, and you have a number of features to to write or type and collaborate. So these things help in continuing with the education better. You can do a maths problem, or you can show a text and ask the students to use annotation to highlight a grammatical mistake. Try to keep these sessions as interactive as possible. So unlike a webinar like this, in a classroom, you can promote questions and you can ask for their reactions. You can do polls. You can actually break them into groups for discussion. So Zoom has something called breakout rooms, where you can divide the classroom into multiple groups where they go discuss and then come back again. And they can come back in specified time. So that can help in the interaction. Then you can actually make your students be the presenter. So some of them can present to the class. This will also make them improve their presentation skills, and also have students hear from one another. So while they are missing each other, and the company talking to each other, or at least listening to each other, improves them psychologically as well. Okay. 1 second, let me just remove the annotations. Yeah. So as you run the classes over video, there are a few guidelines for a teacher to keep in mind. When you start the class and you're running the class, you can mute participants' microphones. That would help because that avoids unnecessary background noise, and the students can focus on what they are being taught. Look at the camera so that they feel that you are talking to them, and it creates a more face-to-face kind of feeling. Keep a mix of using the presentation and showing your face, so that they feel a little more confident. Also take some time to actually look at the students, because they are visible to you on video. Check and get their feedback wherever you can. I would suggest in the initial sessions, go a little slow, so that they are able to gather what you are talking about. It's a new medium for them in terms of really learning. So let them understand what the topics are. They will take a little more time than they have been earlier. At least in the initial sessions, you have to be a little more careful about this, and then you get a better perspective of how they're able to catch up. Okay, as a student, as the students log into Zoom, here are a few things to check. Some of them might be on slower internet speed, so they can turn off the camera and they will find that the voice quality improves. If they are there on the on with video, try to keep the camera at eye level. Also, please be in a well-lit place so that you're visible. Using a virtual background is a good idea. So you can see I am using a virtual background. You can use a variety of images, or you can use a variety of videos acting as your background. The administrators can also use Zoom for a number of things. So whenever you start the classes, I recommend you take a parental consent. You communicate the schedule of online classes and let the parents consent that students are going to join. You can also use Zoom for assemblies or morning announcements, where you can talk about the information about your schools, new things that are happening in the schools, any news you may have. Even the staff can get into virtual staff meetings. So the staff or the teachers don't have to really feel completely away from others, they can connect and be face-to-face on video. The schools can offer counseling services to students. These are very difficult and stressful times, so counseling services can be very useful. Training sessions can be organized for teachers, again, using Zoom. And any of the teachers, if they are facing technical problems, even those problems can be resolved through Zoom meetings, screen shares, and even remote desktop access. So yeah, so here I have a set of tools which are available on Zoom, which you should use. Polls, you saw polls, we started with a poll. It gives an idea of feedback of whether the students are understanding the topic you are working on. You will get a feedback on a summary basis in the beginning, but later after the class, you can actually see the details of every student, how they have been doing. You can break them into breakout rooms. So you can give assignments in a group that they can interact and discuss, and then they can come back and then discuss together. You can use a virtual background. So rather than having a dark I mean, you can use a virtual background to for yourselves. Sharing a screen is useful. You can share videos, you can share presentations, you can show a document, and then you can do annotation. So you can write on top of it. People can do that together. A whiteboard there is also very useful. Chats are very useful. Chats, as we are also doing as part of the webinar, are a good way to interact as the sessions are going on. Also, as you keep the recordings of the meetings, recordings are very useful because if there are some students who are not able to attend live classes, they can go through the recordings. And Zoom has a feature of enabling transcription of the meeting. So whatever is recorded, the transcription can also be captured, and that can also be seen either either alongside the video or simply as a separate recording. So that's a quick view on the on Zoom as a tool. I'm happy to take questions in the end on Zoom, and please keep sharing questions that we can respond separately. I would say that for schools, it is very important that we start classes, and even if they are online classes, they help ensuring that the education continues. So please start, and like I showed, Zoom is a free tool. It is very simple to use. It carries a variety of functionality which makes learning easy. If you have a learning management system, it can be used alongside that. It makes it so much more simpler. We are looking at coming up with a variety of services. So certain services for schools in terms of collection of fees, online admissions, school management systems, and also certain learning management features. So we will come up with those, and you can utilize those features. But as far as classes are concerned, you can start immediately. Zoom is a good tool, but there are a number of others which are also available. So you can look at a Microsoft Team, or you can look at a Google Meet. Those are other options which are also possible. Over to you, Dio.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for that exposition on Zoom and deploying Zoom for online classes. I'm very sure that there are questions which we will have time to attend to at the end of the session by Femi. Maybe I should just mention that while schools will eventually resume, sometimes down the line, we don't know exactly when, what we're trying to do is to give you an opportunity to keep your business running sustainably. The challenge most of the time is making that necessary shift. It's important for us as school owners at this point to make this shift, because the future of education really is education technology. And so if your school does not adapt itself to leveraging all of these technology platforms to run side by side your conventional in-classroom learning, you might have a problem retaining your students and, of course, some of your teachers. So we need you to look beyond the current situation that we are in. We're talking about the future, not just a short-term solution for what you need to do. We also see that a few people are asking questions as to the cost. We will get down to those questions at the end of the session. Okay, so while I was speaking, Femi joined us in the house. Like I mentioned earlier, Femi is the CEO of Robert and John Limited. He's also the founder. Like I mentioned that last month, he worked on a project in partnership with Lagos State government to move 1 million children to e-learning. So while the government is thinking in the direction of e-learning, we also need to think in that direction. So Femi, welcome on board. It's good to have you in the house. If you can hear me, can you just wave? Oh, great. Great to have you. So meantime, we'll share the video for this session. So in case I see that a lot of people are complaining that the quality of the screen is not too good. So we'll share the video, the links to the video after the session. We'll also share slides with you. So not to worry, grab as much as you can grab within the time frame of the live webinar. And afterwards, we'll be coming to you with the content for your reference purposes later on. So Femi, I would like you to take us through your value proposition. Like I said, we know you've done a lot of work in this space, over a decade of investment, research and development, getting content, suitable devices, putting into consideration the need that these devices need to be affordable for low to medium income schools to be able to key into them. So let's have you, what do you have? Tell us more about Roducate and how school owners can begin to leverage these devices.
Thank you for having us. I would start by, can you see me? The screen is frozen. If you can you see me? Okay, so I will start by introducing the products. I will start by showing you 2 videos. So we want to show you the product, which is the premium model, and then we want to show you the one for the public schools, and then we'll also show you the CMS, which is the content management service, how you can get your school online immediately and get your student to connect to your school and get content immediately. So we'll show you the device to use, then we'll show you how the school gets online. So let me first of all introduce you to the content. I'm going to share my screen now. All right, so I am now going to show you the second video to show so that you can understand the proposition for maybe say low, not too expensive version of the kind of content, and then try and quickly introduce who we are to you very quickly. So I'll be sharing my screen again.
Robert and John is an innovative research and development company that uses technology to address social problems in Nigeria and Africa. Our passion is for education and healthcare, technology and social impact, Nigeria and Africa. Our mission is to bring excellent curriculum-based education to every child in Africa in general and Nigeria in particular, no matter where he or she resides. The Roducate solution. The Roducate solution is endorsed by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, the Nigerian Educational Research Development Council, the National Universities Commission, Microsoft, and the African Union. Roducate Lite. Roducate on devices powered by KaiOS is our answer to quality mass education. The offline app on a smart feature phone powered by the Kai operating system is supported by Google and Facebook. The operating system hit the market in 2007.
Hello, Femi. I think that the video is no longer playing. You might have to check from your end. Okay, yeah. So we lost Femi. I guess he's having challenges with network, but I hope to have him back as soon as possible. Okay, he's back.
Subject.
Hello, Femi. Can you hear me? Hello, Femi. You're muted. You're on mute. You're on mute. Femi, can you unmute yourself, please?
Select your subject.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So I was saying that the video, we had issues in transmission. You might just want to proceed with your presentation because of the time we have.
Progress, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have, I don't know, yes, so I can quickly show you the, all right, so I don't know if you can still see my screen. Can you still see my screen?
I can't see your screen yet. You can try sharing your screen. Have you tried sharing the screen?
All right. All right, whilst that is going on, so let's just move forward whilst that is going on. So what we are trying to do is show the schools. All right. So what we are trying to do is show the schools. Can you see my screen now? Service.
Yeah.
You can now.
But it's
right.
still loading. I think there is an issue with your network.
I don't know. Service.
It froze at some point.
Anyway. So we have this option of the device that comes with the Roducate application. Okay. It comes with the Roducate application with the contents, lectures, mock exams, and assignments. The content is approved by NERDC, JAM, federal government, Ministry of Communication Technology, NUC, all the works. So exam bodies, so you have the content, West African curriculum, and you can also control the content here. So you have lecture notes, assignment, mock exam, and then you can also chat with the student.
Hello, Femi. Hello, Femi, can you hear me? Okay, I think Femi is really having issues with his connectivity. So while he tries to sort that out, I can just, sorry, Femi, I know it can be very frustrating, the nature of network you're having over there. So just keep trying. We'll come back to you once we have you. So in the meantime, Ashwaya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Network is really bad.
So I'm thinking that you could take some of the questions you've had hitherto. A lot of people are asking how they can upload content on via Zoom, or I don't know if I got that question right.
So yes, I can respond to a few questions. So one is, can I run a Zoom class using a tablet or Android phone? The answer is yes. Both the teacher and the students can use an Android phone. There's a Zoom app download which is available, and you can use that. There have been questions around using virtual background. So virtual background can be enabled from your Zoom client, which is on your desktop, and in the settings you can enable virtual background. Zoom by default comes with a few images and videos, but you can add more images and videos of your choice, and you can use that as a virtual background. In fact, even while you are in the call, you can decide to enable virtual background, or you can change it. So for example, I can change from that to coming on to let's say a beach. Yeah, so I can change my virtual background while right in the middle of the call. So that's possible. Then there have been other interesting questions, so there are questions around whether the teacher can monitor breakout sessions. Yes, so a teacher can decide how many breakout sessions, which students go to which breakout sessions, when they come back. So all of those things can be controlled. Then there are questions around how do you share the presentations or assignments on Zoom. So Zoom is primarily a video conferencing and sharing tool. If you want to share a document, it would be more suitable to use another medium, which can be your learning management system if you have one. We are looking at providing you one. But otherwise, the other mediums that you might be using, like a WhatsApp, can be utilized. Otherwise, you can show the assignments on screen share, and it is available. There are questions around the use of data. So the video is, of course, when you do live videos, it uses a lot of data. It can vary between 200 megabytes to say 800 megabytes or so for an hour's worth of session, depending on whether you are on a HD or a standard thing. But if the usage of data is a challenge, you can shut the video and you can get on to audio only, and that would reduce the use of data. But it will still enable you to use live classes. Or students can use a mix of actually coming on to video and not, and then getting off it. Dio, any more questions that you think we should respond?
Hello, Ashwaya, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to do something. Apparently, Femishola is having a lot of issues with network from his end. So we'll just, I'll load the slides from here.
So
if Femishola can.
Yeah, I have
the
slides. 1 second.
You have slides with you, right? Otherwise, I can just share from here.
1 second. Yes, I have the slides. I'll share.
So Femi, we're going to do something and we'll share the slides from here. So you just walk us through the presentation. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so that I think that the video takes a lot of data and it's going to disrupt the transmission. So let's just work with the slides for now. Hopefully we can get through this in good time. Yeah, we also want to apologize for all of the technical issues we are having. I'm very sure it's because of data. We're trying to find a workable solution to get the information across to you in good time. So Ashwaya, if you have the slides now, you can show.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Can you see the presentation?
Femi, I need you to walk us through this slide.
Okay. I'll be able to see. Okay, so this is talking about Roducate with the modules, the learning modules, lecture notes. You get all your lecture notes in line with the curriculum from primary, junior secondary, senior secondary, all the way to university. You get mock exams from common entrance, WAEC, NECO, GSC, SSC. You can do practice questions. It will mark it. It will give you your results. We also have tutorial videos, podcasts, you can listen to lectures and all that. However, so although you can submit assignments, you can do your assignments, but at the same time, this particular application works on iOS devices, Android devices, and iOS devices. You can also, now everything all the content you get on this page, you can get our content or you can get your school's content directly on this application, and you can log into your school's center on this application. Can you move to the next slide, please? So this slide describes each of the modules. It talks about the lecture notes. It talks about assignments, receiving assignments daily, getting your lectures in line with the curriculum from beginning of the year to the end of the year, from first term to second term to third term. Now, you also have podcasts. So some of those, lots of those lecture notes also have audio, voice audio. Maybe you're doing chores or you are moving around. You can also listen. You can also watch revision videos. You can also watch life skill. You can play educational games. You can do mock exams. Now, I must point out again that everything in the application is the content that we provided, but the schools also have their own CMS that comes with or without our content. If it comes with our content, if they want it with our content, they can upload, they can also edit and add to our content, although our content is already endorsed by the regulatory. Now, the schools may also prefer to upload their content, their video, their assignment, their lecture notes, and they can also, so what you are doing on Zoom, you can also do it on this particular platform. So you can have a live class, you can schedule your class for the next 2 years, different maths teacher, English teacher, physical education teacher. You can have 1,000, 2,000, 3,500, 20, 50 students on board. Can you move to the next slide, please? So this is telling you exactly, this is telling you exactly the number of subjects that are in primary school. You have mathematics, English, geography, physics, health education, physical education, social studies, arts, and design. In junior secondary, you have mathematics, English, basic science, computer science, all the works, all the subjects are available all the way to junior secondary, senior secondary, and primary school. Can we move to the next slide? So of course, we have the intervention. I was hoping that we were able to show you. I've shown you the device, the KIOS device with the Roducate, and then the Android version of the Roducate. So this is telling you that there's also solar panel for you to charge the devices. If you don't have electricity, just put this by your window. You don't have to put it outside your window, just by the glass. And then the cable is long enough to get into your room, so nobody will steal your phone from the windowsill. You can also have the option of a touch lamp, so you can charge the lamp to charge the phone, or you just charge the lamp directly. So this lamp is also, you can also charge this lamp with the solar. So you can read, and it will last you, if you charge it fully, it will last you a week and a half. And this lamp also charges the phone. The solar charges the lamp, the solar charges the phone directly. Anyone you want is also optional. So you have the devices, you have the lamp, you have the solar, and may I tell you that all the devices come with a SIM card. So you can move to the next slide. It comes with an MTN SIM card that comes with data. So you don't have to worry about data. Edfin will package everything together, optional. You don't have to worry, oh, I don't have data to access content. So the school, if depending on the option the school takes, the school, so I'm going into this. So the first option is the KIOS device that comes with a SIM, that comes with parental control, meaning that the students can't access anything except what the school is uploading or disseminating using the Roducate application on this particular device. Now, this also comes with, of course, you have the full content from primary, secondary, and university. You have assignment, and the school can also update the content that comes on this, and that's why the MTN SIM card is very, very crucial. You don't have to buy any extra data when you have this. Edfin covers it for a year, and it's part of the package for every school, parent, and the student. So that is part of this. So can we move to the next slide? So this is also the Android that I showed you. So this one comes with the CMS for the school. So the school now, for instance, let's assume that a school says we want to get on board. You can get on board in 24 hours, and your students can access devices through Edfin Microfinance Bank. and they also access data. Everything comes together, bundle. So what your students will be accessing is your content that you are distributing from the CMS, your lecture notes, your video, your assignments. You can even do live classes for your students. You don't have to worry yourself. You can schedule live classes, and only your students will access your content. Your own page on our application, your center, your learning, your school on our application, all the student needs is a code. So you sell the code to the students, and then you make profit from it. And then the student uses your code to access your content on our platform. So that's how it works on this. So you have the CMS, you have the data, SIM card. You don't have to register the SIM. The student gets on it immediately. And then you have the 10 learning modules. You have the CMS. You have parental control, and you are good to go. So this device is connected to the school, and the school content is connected to this device. Schools that don't have content may now talk to Edfin Microfinance Bank to tell us, okay, look, listen, can you provide some schools with content because they don't have content? Since all content are approved by the regulatory body in line with the curriculum. And Edfin Microfinance Bank can work that out for you. Can we go to the next slide, please? So this is just telling you about exactly what I've told you. You can get on board. All you need to do is to work with Edfin. They'll send you the onboard link. Once they send you the onboard link, you begin to get on board. All schools can get on board within 24 to 48 hours. You are online, so you don't have any issue. Nothing like, oh, we're not online. Once you plug into this, everybody's online. Your students can access your content. Finance Bank. We have decided that make this free for schools to come on board on the CMS aspect to get online from now till the 30th of September. It will be free for schools to get on board. Only schools getting on board, not parents accessing your content. But you getting on board immediately, putting everybody, all your content, and having access and being able to sell your code. We will, even if you sell your code at this time, we will still not charge you until after the 30th of September. Next slide, please. So the next slide, which is transparent to everybody, you can see the amount. If you are going with this device, is 15,000 naira per device. And then I think 12 to 24 months data, depending on how soon you get it, and you have content and you can access content. This is for low-income earners and people almost close to the, well, if you are not earning much and you want your students or your children to get on board and start learning in line with the curriculum, you get this. And the second one is device only is 25,000. It comes, and then with Roducate application, but there's recurrent expenditure, which is, it comes with data, but it is supposed to be 4,500 per term to access, for all your students to be able to access the content, your content, and also they have data, so parents don't have to buy extra data to access your content on the application. But Edfin again has come with intervention, trying to explain to us that, look, we have to help. So we've dropped it to 2.5. This gives your students access to your content, full content, live class, all the resources, assignment, mock exam, lecture notes, games, everything you want to give to students, even using our content or not. You pay 2.5, and that 2.5 will also help the parents not pay extra dime for data, because we've agreed with the network to give data to only this application. Now, if a student is using any of these devices, they cannot access any pornography or any website or anything apart from your school's content and any other application you would like to whitelist for the students. Next slide, please. Thank you. And that is, we can take questions from here.
Yeah, thank you, Femi, for that presentation. I'm very sure that we have a number of questions that we need to attend to. The first question we can see here is to you, Mr. Femi. From the content management slides, it seems the online learning solution is only for primary school level upwards. Please, can the platform be made available for nursery level too?
Okay, so when you get the content management system, you let us know your school curriculum. Do you want to? Do you want primary, secondary, whatever type of curriculum you want to structure it, where you want it structured for? We will structure it for you, and then you can upload your content, or we can give you content if you want. So you can even do French school, you can do German school, you can follow British curriculum, whatever curriculum you want to follow, you can set it up that way. Within 24 to 48 hours, you are on.
Oh, okay. Great. I think there's another question here. It said, hope the devices, okay, I think it's talking about durability. It said, hope the devices are tested and trusted in terms of durability and what's the warranty on the device?
Okay, so you have 12 months warranty on the device. Now, the KIOS, you know, do you remember the durability of the 3310 those days? When you drop 3310, everything scatters on the floor and you pick it up and clip it. In fact, some people started getting a nickname, Nokia Lomo, meaning that you are actually Nokia. That is the kind of device you are going to be getting with this one. And with this one too, it's rugged. We've done it in such a way that, you see, we've taken into consideration that you are going with children and all these people, you know, they drop it. Even if rain is falling, you can run into the house and you are still going to have it working. So I think with the 12 months warranty and with the feedback we've gotten so far and with the parental control, it's a win for everybody.
Okay, thank you very much, Femi. I think there are more questions streaming in now. We'll just take a couple of questions more, and then I'll see how far more we can go. Yeah, so if the school is interested in getting content, there's a question here, can schools get content without the device? Is it possible to get content without the device?
Yes, again, as you know, as you discussed, Edwin Microfinance Bank has also said that, look, listen, some people may have devices on their own. Yes, the school gets on board. The school will sell the code to the parents. The parents will use the code on their devices. That's fine. And then the subscription continues from there. So where, yes, you just pay the 2.5 after 30th of September. Not the school, but the parents.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we take the next round of questions, I'll just share a slide now with us. If you want to place your order or you want to take a loan to access these devices, you can send an email to contact us at edfinmfb.com. The email is right there. You can contact us at edfinmfb.com, or you can call us on the number on your screen. We'll take up all your questions, and then our loan officers will get in touch with you subsequently. Whatever number of device you want to get, you are able to. Oh, I think I lost some viewers. Okay. Yeah, so let's come back to the slides, to the questions rather. Now, how long typically does it for you to, if I place my order for devices today, maybe after this workshop, how long does it take for your company to deliver to the school?
So, so depending on the device you want.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Wait, I can hear you.
Oh, I think we lost Dio. He got disconnected.
So, yes, so let me continue to answer the question. So the question was that when will you get a device? So you can begin to start, you can start getting devices as early as within 1 week. We can give you a device depending on the device that you want. So what we will do is we'll take the order as much as we can take and then begin to distribute them. Now, also know that some devices like this, device comes fully with the curriculum and the students can start learning. This comes with the CMS, which is the content management system of the school, and the school can also begin to push out their content and get all their students online for as long as the school exists. Yeah. Should we?
Okay, great. I think I'm just trying to scroll through the question. You said what? I didn't get that. I think that the questions have been exhausted for now. Ashwa, hear me, please. Ashwa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I need you to stand on, be on standby. At some point, we'll need to show a sanitation video for school owners watching this program to understand the need to put sanitation facilities in place for their schools.
Sure.
So while we try to wrap up the questions with Femi, we just need you to be on standby for that. Yeah, if that is okay. So Femi,
yes, sir.
If schools, for instance, we know that this product is good for low to middle income schools. There might be some middle to high end schools that have content already. So if they want to upload content on the devices, is it a value added service that you offer as a company, or they have to pay? And if they have to pay, what's the cost?
Okay, so this is how it works. So I need to explain this properly so everybody gets it. This is it. The devices come with an application called Roducate. That application is where the CMS we are providing to you, the content management system that I showed you, the whole system that helps you upload your content and everything, we give it to you between now and 30th of September for free. It will come empty. You can upload your content. We'll assign you an account officer. You can upload your content. However, if you feel like there are some areas that you need content, you need help, we can also help with content as per that area. Now, on the other side, where the student or their parents will be accessing your content is the application. So you go down, you just, on the application, you give your students your code. You can decide to use universal code for all your students, and you can decide to use different codes for each child or each student. That child goes to the Roducate application and enters the school code. Immediately the child puts in that code, the application takes the child to the school, meaning that the child now sees the school's page and everything, and all the content you've been uploading in the CMS will begin to show. The child can now access it, the lecture notes, the videos, or your scheduled live class. Now, you can put any content you want in line with your curriculum there. If you want to start from Key Stage 1, fine. If you want to start from early school, if you want to, whatever you want to do, even if you want to run a British curriculum, everything will be set up for you. There is a link for you to set up your school remotely immediately. I believe that, I don't know, maybe Edfin will want to share that link with you. So you can also use that link to immediately enroll. You don't need to talk to anybody apart from my Edfin Microfinance Bank. You blast the link to all of you and you click it and set up your school.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Femi. while we are trying to see if there are more questions from this end, we'll just take a short video from Ashwaya. We'll come back to you in a moment. Thank you.
All right.
Ashwaya.
Meet the Ojekunle family, Aderemi, Opeyemi, and their daughter Chika. As schools are scheduled to open after lockdown, Opeyemi is worried about Chika's safety. Aderemi meets the school owner Aisha about the school sanitation plan. Aisha explains to him the school sanitation plan: A. Regular hand wash arrangement with soap and water. B. Hand sanitizers in toilets, classrooms, halls, and near exits. C. Clean toilets. D. Signages encouraging good hand and respiratory hygiene. E. Promoting social distancing and cancelling assemblies and sports. F. Clear policies and procedures if children or staff become unwell. Aderemi and Opeyemi are now satisfied and happy. Chika is looking forward to coming back to school.
Yeah, like I was saying that the point we're trying to communicate via the video is quite straight to the point, and maybe I should just lend a voice to that. While COVID-19 might be gone for a while, parents will still have this apprehension as to getting their children into your school. And so if you want to take care of that challenge or that concern that parents will have, because safety will still be paramount in their minds, it is important as school owners to ensure that you put in proper sanitation facilities and measures in place to at least assure the parents that their kids are safe while they are coming to school. The other issue I wanted to speak into was the question that someone asked, that what happens when school reopens, though we don't know when school is going to reopen and all of that. The truth is, like I mentioned, if you were here from the beginning of this conversation, I mentioned that while the devices, or while schools might eventually reopen and then in-class learning will continue at some point, it's important that this online platform can actually run side by side your conventional in-class learning. What I mean is, for instance, after school hours, during your weekend, during holiday, you can still deploy these devices to engage, to keep your students engaged. And it's going to be an additional services you are rendering to parents. We understand that there are times that parents have issues with paying fees and all of that, but the more value, we believe that the more value you are able to give your parents at this time, the more likely they would be to paying their fees and getting you run your school sustainably. So it's important for us to get that clear. Amy, if you can hear me, there's a need for us. I think the question you didn't touch on. The first thing is, you mentioned that when schools get devices, okay, they get content and all of that, but what if they don't get the devices and they get the content? Are they going to pay? And if yes, what's the cost implication for the content they would get from Roducate?
Sorry, can you take that question again? It froze.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. When you were speaking about the content, here you answered the question if they can get content, but we need the school owners need to know if they're not getting the devices and they're just getting only the content, what is the cost implication for the content alone, the Roducate content? Okay,
so again, during this intervention, where the cost to the content alone is 2,500 naira per term during this intervention. So, and that is because every microfinance bank made it almost impossible for us to make any extra profit from it. So it comes, and that 2,500 also comes with a SIM card, which your child can put in the device to also access data for that particular month. But ideally, after the intervention, it will be 4,000 naira per term. But maybe if you are one of those that come in early, you can retain that 2,500 per term for each child to access your content or the content that we preload for. Every content will still be your content. Even if we give you content, you can edit it, you can add to it. So you would have a content management system as a school, and then your student can now pay 2,500. And then, I don't know, you may want to put extra profits on that and then to sell to the students so that they can use your code to access your content.
Okay, thank you very much, Femi. At this point, I would just like to show us a little breakdown on the cost implication per student per term. Now, this is EdFin's value proposition for remote learning. So if we take an hypothetical number of 25, let's assume that the number of students that you have in your school is 25, and you have one teacher. Now, the cost of data for 90 days, we have been in conversations with MTN, and we've been able to get a data package for 72,540 or thereabout. Now, this is the cost of data for you to service 25 students over the period of 90 days. That is a typical term period. Now, the total cost of device for 25 students, let's assume that your number of students is 25. The total cost per school will come to around 645,000 naira. Now, what this means is that you can actually apply for a loan to get this amount from EdFin and access the devices, the data, and the content for your students per term. I think that my network is a bit slow, so I'll just go over that again. Now, I said if you take an hypothetical figure of 25 students in your school, now the cost of data for 90 days will amount to 72,540. Now you can divide, there's a medium for sharing the data to your students on a daily basis based on the data requirements they need to access the content. And so if you take that figure, the total cost per school for 25 students will amount to 645,000 naira. Now, if you also want an SMS package, that's the school management package coming together with it for 25 students, that's the figure there, and that will bring the initial startup cost for, let me shift this. The initial startup cost for 25 students is about 750,000 naira. So we can provide this facility for you to be able to access all services and initiate your remote learning in your school. Now let's do that again for 50. If you have 50 students in your school, the cost of data will be 145,000 naira. The total cost of devices per school will come to 1,290,000 naira. And then the total cost for initiation will be around 1.5 million naira. So we can do that again for 100 students, and you see the progression down there. So all of this information will be made available to you. As we mentioned, we have your email addresses already. We'll make the information available to you. If you need to apply, if you want to start applying or making your order, placing your orders for the Roducate devices and the content together with the accessories that come, maybe I should just mention again that there are power solutions that come with these devices. So it's not just the content and the devices that you're getting, you're also going to be getting power to ensure that the students are able to optimize these devices. So if you are interested, either outright purchase or getting a loan facility, please, we'll need you to send an email. Chika, if you can please put up the email information for them to take down. Okay, great, thank you. So that's our email address there. Contact us at edfinmfb.com. You can call us also on 080-94546-334. And then we'll attend to you wherever you are. Now, maybe we should also mention that there might be a need for us to do some background analysis with respect to whether your school has enough resources to be able to take the facility. So we would evaluate, we have a system that checks whether you are eligible, you can sustain the amount you're taking. So you just come and say, okay, I want to take 3 million, I want to take 5 million, I have to get a certain amount of devices. You show us the information that tells us, okay, this is the number of teachers, this is the number of students you have in your school, and for that reason, you need this also amount of devices. And so once you send us that information, we can take it up from there and then see how far we can go with that. So I'll just check through the questions again, if we can just by chance take 1 or 2 questions before we wrap it up for today. Do we have questions? If for the participants, I know you're watching us from, you might not be able to speak to us at this moment, but you can drop your questions on the Q&A section. We'll take it up from there. If there are any questions you would like to ask with respect to what I just said about the onboarding process, please feel free to ask before we move on and finalize. So Ashwai, I think there's a question for you, if you can hear me.
Yes, Dave.
Okay, great. Now, someone was asking that, can one start a Zoom class by using tablets or Android phones?
Oh, yes, they can. It is possible. You can download the Zoom app on your Android phone, and then you can run your class from there.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I'm just trying to see if there are critical questions that need attention before we wrap it up for today. Yeah, so by way of maybe farewell, Femi, what would be your message for school owners grappling with a lot of contemplations with respect to how to keep their business running at this critical time? We know for sure that there's a need for a shift in how we run our schools and of course every other enterprise for that matter. So from your perspective as someone that has been in the EdTech space for over a decade or thereabout, what would be your message to our participants watching from all over at this time?
Okay, thank you for having us. I'm actually here with my team. I will say to you that don't panic. Edfree Microfinance Bank has just given you the best package you can find anywhere. Nobody's offering this yet. And you don't need to worry yourself because you can get online immediately. You don't have to lose your students to other schools that are going online. And your students will keep learning for as long as you keep updating your content and you also make sure that they are able to acquire the devices to access your content. Again, do not panic. We are here to help you get online immediately. And tell the parents of your students that, oh, the so-called data problem, there's also a solution. Tell them also the so-called generator problem, or PHTN took light, ecosystem. Can you see? I've changed into like 3 different names. Eco-distribution or Ikeja distribution took. You also have solar to help. So your learning you don't have any excuse. The parents don't have any excuse anymore. Edfree Microfinance Bank has just done right for you. That's all I have to say. And don't panic at all.
All right, thank you, Femi. So, if you're listening,
Dayo, we also have.
So, Ashwaya,
yeah,
what's your final word?
We also have the results of the poll, so I can just share it with everybody.
I didn't get that.
Can you see the results of the poll?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
3.
See the results of the poll at this time. Do you think remote learning should become a major component in schools proposition post-COVID-19. So we have 83%, that's about 160 participants aligning with that perspective that we need to make the necessary shift. Okay, that's great. Can we have, I think we took 2 polls. Can we have the results of the second one?
The second poll has to be launched. 1 second. So I am asking the question now.
I didn't get that.
All of you can vote now.
Okay, so great. The second poll was, the question was, what major what major challenges do you think you must overcome for remote learning to succeed in Nigeria? So we just take a couple of minutes to get feedbacks on that, and then we'll wrap up for this afternoon. Okay, Ashwara, while they are responding to that, I think there's a question here for Femi. Femi, is it possible to have if by any chance we can have a feel of the product before deciding to purchase or place our orders? Possible?
So there are 2 aspects of it. When you say the product, are you talking of the student's perspective?
Femi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So there are 2 aspects of it. You can easily just
Hello?
get Roducate. Hello? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, so there are 2 ways.
Okay.
Are you talking about, is that question from a school or from a parent?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please. Yeah.
If the question is from a school,
yes,
it's free from now to September. So if you don't want any more, you can just opt out by the 30th of September. So we are not charging you for the CMS, but for the device, you can have a demo of the device, but you can also have a demo of the application by just downloading the application from any of the stores and use it, and you see how it works. But the CMS for the school, yes, you can just enroll, it's free, test it, and give your students to test it, get maybe 10, 20, 25 devices, test it, and if it's okay, then you can scale it up. Again, maybe I repeat myself, for the CMS for the school is free to the 30th of September, so you don't have to pay, you can test it, you can get on board. For the devices, I don't think we can give you a demo for a device. You have to purchase maybe a minimal order from Edfin. And then for the application, yes, you can get the application and also test and see how it works.
Okay, great. So I'm afraid we'll have to cut it off at this point. We've extended beyond the time that we have to take for today. Like I mentioned earlier, the details, the slides and the video for this session will be made available via our social media outlets, and we'll reach out to you via emails as well. So it's been a very engaging session so far. Thank you, Ashwaya, for the resourcefulness and the expertise you brought to the table today to walk us through sessions on Zoom. We hope
You're welcome.
We hope that we can begin to see schools leverage these platforms for engagement. Femi, thank you. Thank you for the great work you've done.
Thank you very much.
We're very sure that we'll come back to you with the orders after this session. So from all our audience, I'll just round off by saying that the EdFin Education Digitization Series continues next week. So watch our social media space for the information for registrations and all of that. You can also visit our website at www.edfinmfb.com. To access free resources, you just put a / free resources to get into the catalog of all the free resources that we have available for you. So regardless of whether you're a parent, you're a school owner, you're a teacher, whatever you are in the education space, we'll have something for you on the platform. So from us at EdFin MFB, we want you to keep reaching for the future. The realization of human potentials depend on education. And so we're not going to allow COVID-19 to stop us. We're going to find alternatives to keep our children learning. And so if you need to make the right decisions that you need to make, please do that now. You can contact us, like I've mentioned, through our emails and our phone lines, and we hope to take it up from there. So once again, it's bye for now. Ashwaya and Femi, take care and have a lovely week. Yeah, bye.
Bye.